Now another thing you may want to do is you may have the names in two columns and you may want to combine them. There are a couple of different ways to do that. So the first way is to use the join function, equals join, tab to open up the rest of the information for us. This time it's asking for us for the delimiter first, so that is the space one. Once it will be the space, so we will use speech marks, space, speech marks, and then a comma. So the first value is going to be the first name in E2, and then comma, and then the second is going to be the last name in C2. And you can see it's already giving us a little preview up here of what it's going to look like. Close the brackets, and then we get Emma Johnson. And if it's suggesting that it autofills, I'm going to let it do that. Now we have all of the names joined up again. Now there's a different option we can use for that. We can use the equals, we can just click in the first cell, we can use the ampersand, and then we want to put our space in. So we put our speech marks, space, speech marks, and once again it's giving us a little preview of what it's going to look like. So the ampersand again, because we are adding the other cell, and there we are, it's now given us Emma Johnson. So what we've got here is we've got B2 plus a space plus C2. Instead of dragging this formula down, one of the things we can do is we can turn it into an array formula, which will mean that anything we add to our original list will just get added to the bottom of this list without having to drag a formula down. And to do that, the first thing we do is, instead of it just applying to the cell B2, it's going to apply to B2 to B, so anything that is in column B, and C2 to C, anything in column C. Now I have to tell Google Sheets that we want it to be an array formula. I can do that by either typing equals array formula, or I can, on a Mac, I can press Command Shift and Enter, or on a PC Control Shift and Enter. It puts the array formula wording in for me, and then I press Enter again to make that active. The array formula theory can also be applied into our split function. So if I just delete these, and in here we do split A2 to A, and we turn it into an array formula again by Command Shift Enter or Control Shift Enter, and then Enter again, it has now added all of the names without us having to drag the formula down. But we do get this value error. So if we don't want to see this value error down at the bottom here, which basically means there's nothing in cell A, in column A to split, then we can wrap the whole formula in an if error. So if I put a space and then start typing if error, there we are, there's the formula, tab, and it just puts in the bracket for us. And then we don't want a message or anything at the end, so I just put another bracket in and press Enter, and now our value errors have disappeared. So the beauty of the array formula is, if I was to add an extra name, Sally Jones, when I press Enter, it's automatically added it, because the array formula is looking for anything that is in column A at all, and this array formula is looking for anything that is in column B and column C. This formula does not work with an array formula, so if you wanted this method you'd have to drag it down. In the sorted by last name, which is the only one that hasn't updated, that's because we've stipulated that it only runs to C22. If we take that out and just make that C, then now that has also sorted. So if we want this column to auto sort, we can do it. It's just a little bit of a busier formula. So let's start by copying our formula from column D, our index and sort. So if I just copy that and pop that into G for the moment. So what we want to do is we want to replace this reference with this reference here. So if I just copy that part of the formula, copy it, go back into this formula and replace paste it into there. Now the column reference, the sort column, this time instead of it being a number we're going to have to use C2 to C. So it's C2 colon C. And now if I press enter, that should work. Yes, it has worked, lovely. So now we can just copy the entire formula and replace it here, and we no longer need the helper column. So one final thing I like to do is I like to highlight where all my formulas are, just so that I don't overwrite them. And then if I delete the names here, I then have a blank sheet all ready to go for the next time I have a cast list to sort. So let's go and choose this cast. Let's copy, let's paste them in, and then that's all the work done with one simple paste. I'll leave a link to this document in the description, so feel free to download it, have a play, and use any bits of it that may be useful. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and see you in the next one.